It's been a long year, full of ups and downs, and as the year comes to an end, it's the perfect time to soak it all up, take in all the lessons and memories with you, and get ready to make the next one great.
Yeah.
Now, sorry. This reset routine is something that I've done for the past couple of years now, but I feel like I just finally perfected it. Obviously, it's never gonna be a perfect routine, but this one is pretty good. I thought I'd bring you guys along with me. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. I typically like to do my reset in 3 stages. And just so you can see, this is like my actual reset page on my phone. And that's the list we're gonna go through today. Before you can get started with any of the planning stage, which is the final stage, you actually have to just first, in my opinion, get your life really together, organized, settled, back to neutral, back to ground zero for a fresh, clean slate. And then we do a little bit of a recap on the year, and finally you get into actually being able to plan for this new year. Today and tomorrow probably we're gonna work on the first 2 stages, and then the planning will be a separate video because I have so many ideas that I need to share with you guys. The idea here is to create this sense of like freshness, newness, cleanliness, and just overall feeling like you have your life together, organized, all your ducks are in a row, all the little areas of your life are neat and tidy, and you kind of have a grip on the way that you live your life and you organize your life. There's 3 key things that we gotta get through. The first one is going to be your physical space. Now, this is no brainer, and I feel like everybody gets the motivation to actually do this when the new year is coming around, which is just to organize your entire house. And you can take this a step further and declutter whatever you can. I have been doing this for the past couple of weeks actually. I have literally gone through every single drawer in every single room of my house, making sure that it is organized, that I don't have any excess stuff, and that I just feel like my space is working for me and I'm not gonna have to be keeping up with all of this extra stuff. As a little side note, all of this reset process, you don't have to do it in one day. You can actually just take your time throughout the entire month. It isn't that essential for you to do this before you move on to the other stage. Organizing our physical space is sort of a no-brainer. It'll 100% dictate how you feel internally. The same goes for your digital space. This is somewhere you access every single day. More than just looking at it, you're using it all the time. And so it is very important for it to be organized in a way that serves you, that makes you feel calm, that makes you feel even motivated for you to get stuff done. And that's what we're gonna tackle right now, because mine is a complete disaster. Am I excited about it? No. Does it have to get done? Absolutely.
So, the things that I put mainly is go through my mail, and then mainly do the phone, and there's a lot to do with like files. Like, look at this. This stuff is just ridiculous. Like, ridiculous, the amount of stuff I have on here. Now I'm going into the worst part, which is basically doing all of my files. You saw the mess. It's bad, but this I'm hoping will be the most gratifying part. So wish me luck. It took me 30 minutes to just erase everything that was on my desktop, but it feels so good. I want to tackle the documents folders, and for this, I have no idea what I'm gonna do because I have so many documents, and honestly, I kind of want to skip it because anything that you're looking for, you can just search on your computer. Like, we don't really need document organization in 2023. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Other thing that you probably want to organize is your downloads folder, because there's a bunch of crap in there, and the idea is for everything to be cleared. So ideally, once you do these routines, during the week or month or whatever, you want to try to keep your desktop and downloads folder clear, and that way you have everything that you need to access clean and organized.
We're back on the floor. The last thing you might want to do, no, don't like that, please. Anyways, the last thing you might want to do in order to kind of like get all of your digital life in order is going to be to go through your phone. So most likely you're going to want to go through all of the apps that you no longer use, go through your notifications, make sure that everything that is turned on for a purpose and everything else is off, and then probably kind of like organize your home screen and get the widgets that you want and all that stuff. Mine is actually pretty tidy, so it took me like 3 minutes to do that. So I feel like we're finally ready to move on to the final phase of this reset portion, and that is going to be to go through all of your productivity systems. Now, what do I mean by that? Productivity systems are basically the apps and lists that pretty much run your entire life. So if you have like a weekly planning checklist, or if you have like a way that you do groceries, or the app that you use as your calendar, your to-do list, and Notion and all that stuff, you're gonna want to go through these systems and make sure that everything is kind of up to date, that everything that is in there, all those processes and like lists, still serve a purpose for you, which you can kind of see is the theme of this video. But the idea is to just make sure that you have like a grip on how it is that you plan your life all the way from like your year, which is, you know, the upcoming video. I am not gonna guide you guys through this one on mine because I have been working on my system a lot for these past few weeks, because starting this new year, I'm going to make a whole Building Your Second Brain series where I'm gonna just walk you through how to do it, how to get organized in pretty much every single area of your life and digital stuff. And there I'll definitely share how my system is organized, and you guys will be able to see all the little details. Okay, now that you have the reset portion of this clean slate new year thing done, now you can start looking back into the previous year, make a little bit of a yearly recap so that you get the clarity that you need in order to be able to plan for the upcoming year. So light a little candle, get in the mood. You can probably do this in like one sitting if you want, and enjoy the process, because honestly it's really nice to look back at your year and see what the ups were, what the downs were, how you grew from that, and what is coming up next. So step one of this little recap is going to be to go through your photos. Now, if you want to do the whole organizing of your photos, that's great. That can be part of your reset. You can do it throughout December, but the main idea here is to just kind of scroll pretty quickly and see what your year was. And as you're going through them, kind of get an idea of maybe memories that you took, trips that you did, what your daily life looks like, you know, what were kind of like the big moments of the year, which is most likely what you're going to see in the pictures. Similar to that, you're going to want to go through all of the goals, kind of just a quick overview, what it is that you set out to achieve, and see more or less how you did, if you achieved a lot of them, if you didn't, and kind of just start to get an idea. It's not a deep dive, it's just so that you get a refresher on what your year looked like. And the reason why we're not doing a deep dive is because you want to be able to look at it in a wholesome view. And all of this is getting ready for the next step, which is going to be an open-ended journaling session. So this actually I started implementing more recently, and I really, really enjoy it. It gives you a completely different perspective than doing a guided reflection. Don't worry, that's coming, but maybe try to just sit down with a journal or your computer, or it can be a meditation session if that's what you prefer. I personally did this in my prayer journal. It was just like an open-ended prayer basically about what my year was like and how I'm feeling for the next year. Again, not too detailed, just whatever comes to my mind with the topic in my head of how did this year go, how do I feel about it, and how do I feel about the next year. And honestly, this was so refreshing. It was so completely different to anything that I have ever done, and I actually really think that it had a lot more impact than you would guess, because it gave me a big picture kind of guidance for the upcoming year before I go into actually the more analytical and kind of strategical part of doing a yearly reflection. So finally, for the very last portion of the recap, and this is obviously, I guess, the most important part when it comes to strategically planning your upcoming year. Right before that, we're gonna do a yearly reflection. So my thoughts have changed a lot over the past few years on how to do this. I used to go into like a 30 question thing and get super detailed and blah blah blah. And honestly, I don't really think that serves a lot of a purpose. You can do that if that's the kind of thing you enjoy and you like to do. But for me, honestly, I think that just getting an overview and some general plan of what is coming next is more than enough. So I'm going to link a reflection that I did a couple of years ago. I actually really liked, I've seen it every year since I've done it, and that's the one I'm doing this year. There's all the details over there. I'm also gonna link a template in the description. It's a Notion template, just walking you through all of the questions. Very simple. It's like 10 questions, I think, or something like that. And just so you have an idea, the point of this is to kind of close the chapter, give you clarity as to what went well, what didn't, and how it is you want to move forward for the next year. Not just doing some arbitrary plans because it's what you saw on Pinterest, on Instagram, on YouTube lately. It's more about what it is that I actually want to change or continue doing in my life this upcoming year. And that is it, guys. I think that we are finally ready to start planning the next year. So stay tuned for the next video because that's what's coming next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.